You're listening to the Late Night Football Show with your host, Rohit Singh. That's me. On this show, we talk about some of the most seriously silly topics from the world of football for your entertainment and enjoyment. Please remember that the show is BYOL. Bring your own laughs, since we don't have the budget for a studio audience. Happy listening.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Late Night Football. This is our Matchday 3 of the Premier League preview show, and we're going to talk about a few of the games that are coming up this weekend. Some really big games, actually, to look forward to. And to analyze that with us, we have three experts. First up, returning back to the show again, Adarsh. Welcome back to the show.
Hello.
I was
Thank you
saying
for having
Nishikant.
me.
Yeah, I was saying Nishikant that I think you two have been on the show so long. You guys are like super experts now. The monetizing back on the show. But also back on the show we have Shashwat from an Arsenal fan. First time on video though, Shashwat. Welcome to the show again.
Hi Rohit, thanks for having me.
Yes,
Again.
for sure. And we also have Ninad Patwadan for the first time appearing in the show. So there's a bit of freshness there, but welcome Ninad to the show as well.
Thank you so much, Rohit. Thank you, Shashwat and others as well. Thank you for having me, guys. And let's see how we look up to the match week 3.
Yeah, well, it's always nice to have a United fan. So I mean, at least from my
Yeah,
perspective. So let's get right
a
into
bit
it.
bad. Yeah,
Yeah, let's get right into it. And we're actually going to start with Manchester United because that is the first game of this weekend. So we're going to talk about that. Manchester United against Brighton, the first of two possible games because we could probably play. I don't know if that game has happened yet or not, but yeah, Brighton against United is possibly going to happen in the League Cup as well. So first of two potential games that will happen. But we're going to talk about the league game. And wasn't a very good game last weekend with Crystal Palace. We'll forget the Luton one for now. It wasn't a very good game. But right into it, what changes do you want to see in this upcoming game for Manchester United?
most importantly, the coming from so many years now, what I see is that I don't see an intent at all. The first 11, the playing 11, I don't see an intent. Anyone, it's you see people loitering around on the floor. You see, like, while we are kids, we want to just run around behind the ball, and you are at a professional level. You don't do that. And I just don't know. It's so sad to see the team playing that way from where they were and now where they are. And from the whistle itself, I did not see any intent from the team, and it's very sad. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I was so angry that day that I actually stopped midway
Yeah. No,
watching the match,
no. I'm
and
sure there's
then
lots of people who did.
my friend just pinged me on the group, and that Crystal Palace have got a penalty now, and which they missed because Diaz's foot was off the line, and I was so happy, and I was like, okay, fine, they can make a comeback now, but impossible. I mean, I don't think this team can do anything. To be very honest, being a United fan, it's really s- sad for me to say this, but there are different angles to it. If you can look at the transfer window and everything, but
Yeah. Let's try to look
that
forward.
apart,
Let's try to look at this game. I mean, let's look at it in isolation. I don't think there'll be any new signings done in time. So, would you start with the? I mean, I'm sure Lindelof. Would you start with Lindelof? Would you start with Bailly? Or would you give a chance to Mengi?
I will start with Bai. I have always liked Bai more than Lindelof, to be very honest. Personal opinion though.
Yeah.
But again, I mean, look at Maguire. I was just reading some tweets the other day, and someone had tweeted about Maguire that why have they bought a 80 million refrigerator, and he is that. I mean, he doesn't move. You just place him somewhere, and he just keeps watching here and there, always ready to raise his hand for an offside, and it's when it's not. I mean, you need to tag back. You need to keep on playing, and he doesn't do that. And to be very honest with you, he's like 80 88 million pound defender, but I think if you compare him with Lindelof, I will have Lindelof and buy them, because I just don't want to see Maguire in the team. I mean, why is he even a captain? If you see your team is trailing, you need to be a leader on the team. And coming from a United fan, we have seen legends, forcing the team, fighting on the field, on the pitch, to show what football means to them, what the badge means to them. Like, but no one shows that intent on the field, and it's really sad. So yeah, I'll go with Bai instead of
Well,
Lindelof.
I think
And yeah, I was not sure why Van Bissaka was on the bench. He was not even on the bench the other day.
he wasn't fit enough.
Yeah,
Like
I
he
mean,
played against
exactly.
Luton, so I'm assuming he will start. In
Yeah,
place of Mensa. Shashwat, controversial question for you: would you go with Paul Pogba or Van de Beek?
Yeah, at present, I think, in my opinion, Ole might go with Paul Pogba
Mhm.
because because as you can see that in the previous means in the just towards the end of the season, Pogba had a means he was doing okay. Means he was not that bad. But he won few games with for United. So I think at present he will Van der Beek might be settling down a little bit. Donny Van der Beek. So Ole might tell him to settle down a little bit. So he might be used as a substitute. And at present, I think Ole will go with Paul Pogba
Yeah, it
starting
seems that way. He
during
didn't
the.
play. He didn't play over the weekend against. Over the week against Luton. So we'll have to see what that. Maybe it's fitness. Maybe just trying to protect him. Adarsh, who do you think is going to be the key player? Now we know Brighton have a few threats there. I think there's a lot of talk about Lamptey being really, really good. Who do you think? Who do you think is going to be the key player for Manchester United in this one?
There would be two key players in my view. The first one would be Martial because he's the goal scoring guy in United at the moment, and nobody else is scoring more goals than him right at the moment. So Martial would be on the highlight show once again this season because United haven't signed another striker for a partnership there. It's just Rashford and him. Rashford plays on the wing, plays on the center. He can play there. So it's Rashford plus Bruno Fernandes again. I just take
Martial and
sticks on him. I know because of his penalty taking, but it's fine because he has been performing really well for United, and he'll be under the radar once again for everyone, especially United fans.
yeah. No. Nina, do you agree with that? Do you think?
Others must be so sad that he wasn't playing in the playing 11 when Mata got that penalty. I
Yes.
mean, others would be saying, "Oh, damn, man."
Like
But that
it,
was a
it
legit
must.
penalty. I mean, it's a
Yeah,
legit.
it was. There's no denying that it was a very legit penalty.
Yeah. But who
Absolutely.
do you think is going to be the key player for
I think
United?
yeah, I totally agree with others here that
Yeah.
Marshall has been the scoring guy for United. So you can feed him balls, he can do that. But feed him balls is the bigger question here. And yeah, Bruno has been good enough. So let's see. And as Shashwat said that I will go with Pogba or Van der Beek. I'm not sure either of them because Pogba for me seems to be a very I don't know what word to use here, but he has his moments where in a 90-minute game he will show his glimpses of his talent and brilliance that he genuinely possesses. There's no doubt about it. But that will last only for like 20 minutes in the game, and at a level where you are, you need to possess that for 90 minutes, 90 plus, whatever it is.
It
And
feels a bit
he is
lanky.
a brilliant player, but
Yeah.
you need to
But
showcase him for 90
I
minutes.
personally
Yeah,
feel Pogba is a very good player. He just need that motivation and partnership in that midfield. A good
right.
player along with him who can push him and as well as himself. So Bruno could be that player if he plays, if things goes along good. And Ole needs to be on toes with him, like to push his limits. Because at Juventus, we all know that we have seen the peak of Pogba, what he can do. He can take shots, he can pass, he can tackle as well. But he needs that determination from the manager itself. So let's see how it goes. He's quite
I have this one thing about Pogba, like from where he was at United in his early career, and then he moved on to Juventus. Now I'm sure we all of us watched different other leagues as well. I think that he spent so much years at Juventus. What has happened with him is he is still probably not up to mentally that in English football you do not get much time on the ball. You the defenders completely chase you down very quickly. And looking at City and Liverpool, the way they keep pressing hard, and even Sheffield United, I was looking their match other day. They were 10 men down, but they were pushing for the goal in the last dying minutes of the game, and United just like give up. So for me, what I think is Pogba needs to understand is that he needs to, as others very correctly said, that if he finds a partnership with Bruno, that understanding between two, and then keep giving through balls here and there, he can be a really brilliant player, which he already is, I'm sure, but he needs someone to support him.
Yeah. Well, we shall see what happens in the game. But thanks for that. Quick score prediction, Shashwat. What do you think is going to be the score?
Yeah, in my opinion, I think United might will get a win this time. So, but they will not keep a clean sheet. So I think 1-2. Brighton
United.
1 and United 2. Yeah.
Okay. It might be a bit bold, but Adarsh, what's your prediction?
with 2-1 as well because I'm seeing United lose another match because the rhythm is not there at the moment. They won the last match, but still the Premier League rhythm, the first team player rhythm is still lacking. The match sharpness is still not up to the mark. 2-1 from my
2-1
side.
to Brighton.
Yeah, 2-1 to
You know,
Brighton.
he Shashwat went 2-1 to Manchester United, so it's a different
Oh,
score, reverse score. Ninad, what do you think?
I think it will be a 2-0 victory for United.
Oh, yes.
Just
Oh,
I'm not. It will.
clean
To
sheet.
be very honest, if and just to keep others happy, probably they'll get a penalty as well.
it's
just
just to
just
keep
kidding.
Ole in the job, not me happy. Just Ole remains in the job. United
Ole,
gets a penalty.
hopefully he doesn't get sacked the way it has been happening over the past 7 years. Just 18 months, 20, 24 months contracts, and then not contracts, just sack them. Don't do that. Give them time, but if you give them time, it needs to show on the field. But still, a 2-0 victory for United with a couple of scrappy goals, I would say.
Yeah, I think it will be at best a draw. I don't see them getting more than a draw, to be honest. But we shall see how it happens. We'll definitely keep that. But we touched on it. Prediction: do you think United are going to get a penalty this weekend? Before anybody else asks, do you think they're going to get a
How
penalty?
is that a question? I'm surprised. Like this is a fact.
Oh, that's a fact. Oh, they didn't get a
Get a
penalty in the last
penalty.
game. That's
Either
not a
they get
fact.
the penalty or the opposition get the penalty. It's a penalty in the United match.
Okay, so there's going to
I
be
don't
a
think
penalty.
that. I don't think so. There'll be a penalty tomorrow.
Well, I mean, you mean
Yeah.
on Saturday.
Yeah.
For United,
Sorry, Saturday, not tomorrow.
No, no, that's fine. All right, okay, no worries. Well, thanks you for that the United game. I think we'll do a little bit of roundup later on, but we'll move on now to the other game, Chelsea, I believe playing West Brom this weekend. So they were actually pretty impressive against Barnsley 6-0, but it is Barnsley. Adarsh, let's start with you. Who do you think should start? Should it be Christensen is suspended, so do you think they should start with Tomori or Silva? Both of them played in the last game. I don't know if you watched the Barnsley game. They both played. Did okay. Who
yeah,
would you start with?
Thiago Silva would start. Thiago Silva is an experienced player, and he played yesterday's game as well. Yesterday or day before yesterday. So he was fine. He is doing fine. He just need some momentum, which I think he'll gain it really quickly because he is 35, 36 years old. Such players don't need like many games to gain some momentum, and he'll start with Zuma.
Zuma and Silva. Okay.
Yeah.
Shashwat, hat trick for Havertz again, only Barnsley, but got a hat trick. You think he's now ready to light up the Premier League? Getting in form?
In actually, since for Kai Havertz, I have since I've not seen him against Liverpool. I think he was a little bit off. He had his moment, but he was a little bit off. But if with against in this EPL, I think he will take a little bit time to settle. He will not be immediately be a success, but against West Brom or against initially in the first 6 or 7 games, he will take time to settle down, and after that he will be. I think he will do a good job. One thing I think I have seen that he might lack a little bit against physical defenders. He might be having a little bit of trouble, but but means let's see what he does.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting though. Like you were talking about settling in, he didn't have a couple of, he didn't have the best of games, but seemed to be doing. He did pretty well as with a hat trick in the last game.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, but West Brom, Adarsh, they would be accommodating opponents, right? Based on the way that they played in the last 2 games, they seem like the kind of opponent with the way that they played might be good for Havertz because there'll be a lot of space within the defense, right? The way that West
Yeah, because Howard is a player who needs space. He is more of a free player. He doesn't play much on wings. He play in the middle. So either he can be at the front or move in the channels. He's more of a. If you compare it with a City player, he would be more of a like slightly off David Silva kind of a player who doesn't have that much of a speed as like young David Silva or as David Silva. But he has that vision. He has that like play the ball into the channels. He can do that. Uh, he just need that game time. The same thing with Thiago Silva. He just need that momentum into the first team, like every other Chelsea new signing. Same for Werner as well. He's just running like a headless chicken these days, but he needs that momentum with him as well.
Yeah. Ninad, who do you think is going to be the key player for Chelsea in this game? We talked about Havertz. Is it going to be Havertz or do you think it's going to be someone else?
I think yeah, as both of them very correctly said that Havertz can be a key player, and with the comparison with David Silva, I think he can create those spaces. As He likes to play in the middle, and he can keep running on, not surely with a lot of pace as such, but giving long balls as such. But giving short passes and creating spaces, uh, attracting defenders to yourself, so other players get a lot of chance to move into the channels, as others said. So he really can uh, create a lot of space and a lot of prowess in the front. But that being said, I think he might take to get into that level. Yesterday, as you said, he did score a hat trick against Barnsley, but I think he would take a couple of games, maybe more, to completely understand the kind of philosophy that Lampard wants. Hope and Chelsea are very potent ahead. I mean, we saw that last time, but unfortunately, they also leaked in 54 goals, which is a lot. So maybe with Thiago Silva, they can you know help that out. So both of them are key players to Chelsea, and they have done a lot of signings, man. 250 million and above for 7 signings. I hope it shows good on the table.
Yeah, well, yeah, they've got another new goalkeeper as well recently, so they're just like,
Yeah, Mendy is also with them now.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, that
Finally,
regarding the key player factor, I think the goalkeeper is going to be the most important player for Chelsea.
I think, yeah, yeah, a lot will depend on
and
who.
for the oppositions,
Yes,
And for the oppositions, exactly.
yeah, for sure. Shashwat, would you start? I mean, it looked like Havertz and Abraham have some connection. So, a quick question: do you think is it a good idea to start Tammy and then play Werner on the wing, or would you keep Tammy on the bench and play Werner as a striker?
Yeah, I think because in my opinion, I think I will. If I was Lampard, I would have started Werner only because as you know that he has been bought very and just now in the season. So and he was scoring lots of goals against for Leipzig. So if you have bought a player from about for that particular money, so and he should be starting. And I will think that this is a game which Timo Werner may get goals, get his open over his account open and by scoring 1 or 2 goals. So I think, and it's West Brom. I think they have considered 7 goals in the first 2 games. So in my opinion, this time this is the ideal opposition to start your Chelsea career. So in my opinion, I will go with him.
Yeah, for sure. Adarsh, predict the score. What do you think is going to be the score?
so
Yeah, the score. Yeah, the score.
it's going to be 3-0 for me.
Chelsea.
And yeah, Chelsea win with like Werner scoring 2 and Tommy Abraham coming in and scoring 1 as well.
Tammy, not Tommy.
Tammy, sorry, Tammy.
Ninad, what do you think is going to be the score?
I think it's going to be 3-0 as well. Not sure what the score is here, but I think Werner will get one. And Tammy comes in pretty late. Depends on the scoreline when Lampard decides to get him into the game. But if it's a good enough scoreline, then they want some game time for all the players. But yeah, it will be a clinical victory for Chelsea, is what I think.
Yeah, Shashwat?
Yeah, in my opinion, also it will be 3-0 Chelsea. Maybe Werner will score or Havertz, and one of the substitutes, in my opinion, let means either Tammy or any other means
Yeah.
substitute. Yeah. So
I think it'll be
according
5-1.
to
I don't think Chelsea will keep a clean sheet. I think that's a little bit too expectation. 5-1.
yeah.
The Kepa
You,
Howler.
you said 5-1.
5-1, yes. The one that will be
Oh.
considered will be Kepa flapping and missing. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Says Kepa, you can't expect Chelsea to keep a clean sheet. But we shall see.
Exactly.
My predictions usually don't come correct. So maybe you guys will be right on that. So let's move on to Tottenham playing against Newcastle. We're not going to spend too much time on Tottenham, small club. I'm kidding. But we'll talk. Straightforward win, right? I mean, it's Newcastle. They are hammered 3-0 in the last game. It seems like a straightforward win, others, right? Like, it should be.
Yeah, absolutely. The team is looking in some fine form. Like players are looking confident after a long time because that confidence was missing in them. And yeah, Jose has done a good job in the dressing room. He has brought in all the confidence in the team, and they are playing for the jersey. And like Jose has also made it clear that Dele Alli is not a part of his plan anymore, and he has been like linking his moves to PSG as of now. And let's see if he stays or not. Even if he stays, I don't think Jose will include him very much in this season itself because we have seen it from Jose. Like when he doesn't like a player, he doesn't include him in the team, in the first team. He prefers him on the bench or not even in the bench, the reserves. So it would be better if Delhi leaves, and by that means Jose can restore and like maintain the decorum and the positive atmosphere in the dressing room and the high momentum.
Well, if Delhi leaves, the rumor is that they want to sign Jesse Lingard. So,
Yeah.
the atmosphere will definitely light up if they do that. At least the Manchester United will be very happy. Ninad, who do you think is going to be the key player? Is it going to be Son or Kane or someone else? Who do you think is going to be?
Who's interested in buying Jesse Lingard is my first question.
Jose Mourinho at Spurs. That's the thing, right?
I don't know, and it's good. I mean, he's just 27. He has a lot of years ahead of him. He should, if he decides to move there, I think he can at least get a lot of
Just
game time.
27?
I think he's 28
Uh,
now.
I mean, yeah, okay, let's say 28 or 27, but he's still considered. He can be called a young player. He's not
He's
like
got a
he's
long
still
time
not
away.
No,
about
he is
at least.
considered young in a funny way, not an actual way.
Exactly. You get that right.
We're still
So, but he
waiting
still has a
for
lot of years.
we're
But
still
yeah,
waiting for
regarding coming back
Jack
to
Wilshere, Jack
Tottenham.
Rodwell, and Theo Walcott to fulfill their potential. So we're still waiting on those guys. It's a lot of time.
Okay, yeah,
Is there
right.
also
We have a lot of failures in the Premier League who were supposedly brilliant players, but it's okay. Coming back to Tottenham, I believe if we are to go by anything that we saw in the last game, the way they bounced back after the first goal, it was brilliant. I mean, that was some crazy understanding between Kane and Son. The third goal, I guess, the hat-trick goal which Son scored, it was a no-look pass. I mean, he did not even look whether Son is making it, but he was so confident that now that he has the ball, Son is gonna go burst off into that run. So that's some amazing, telepathy between the players and understanding where they play, how they position themselves onto the field. So I would not say I would like to pick either of Son or Kane as the infinite. I think both of them are very important to the club right now. The way again, it's like a development process for the club, and Jose is doing a good job there. So both of them are very important. And against Newcastle, I think they will hammer in another 2-3 goals for sure.
Yeah.
Let's go with 4-1.
4-1. Okay, well, I didn't get there, but that's good. 4-1. It's interesting. You think Newcastle will score a goal? That's interesting. Adarsh, what do you think is going to be the score?
It's going to be 2-0 for Spurs, with Kane scoring both the goals,
No?
because he has been out of action for like last season because of his injury. But this time, I think he'll score more goals and prove himself worthy again.
So is Kane in your fantasy team? Is that what you're picking?
No, it's just I trust Kane too much.
Well, and that may be a pick for you guys if you're doing a fantasy Premier League teams this weekend. Kane to
Kane is a banker player. You can always bank on him. He does give you something or the
Yeah,
other.
actually.
yeah, for sure. Shashwat, what do you think is going to be the score?
Yeah, I think it will be 3-1 Tottenham because 2 goals to Kane and 1 to Son. Son will be also on the in the score sheet, and Kane 2 goals. So that is my prediction.
So I think Kane is a fantasy Premier League pick here for you guys. If I think from our
Yeah.
experts at least, that's what we're getting here. That if you are doing the FPL team for this weekend, pick Kane.
Not
But
not
that's
not for me.
not for
No,
you.
not really.
Take it or leave it. All right. So that's on Spurs. Let's talk about Manchester City now. Let's talk about another small club. I'm kidding. I'm joking.
Others to go.
Like that was a pun. Even the audience knows that.
Yes, I know. Yes.
No,
We'll
we
talk
mean
about
it. We mean it.
Manchester.
That was very mean. So we can get going. No worries, guys.
So, okay, yes, Manchester City. They taking on Leicester City. Great game against Wolves. Are she anticipating any changes? Pep likes to rotate. Are you expecting any changes for the Wolves for this one? For Leicester.
Yeah, so there would be a lot of changes from Manchester City because there has been a hectic schedule for them, and we have a lot of like, big players on the bench as well. We have a strong bench, so Pep would be using it very wisely. We have Ferran Torres, we have Mahrez, Bernardo Silva who are benching against Wolves. So we are expecting many changes. Bernardo Silva may come in the middle, or it may be Foden can play in the middle, and Bernardo on the wings, or maybe Mahrez. And Ferran Torres can also be seen like in place of Sterling, if not Sterling, because he has been brought up for the left flank basically because we have players on the right flank and he can play. So let's see. Even in the middle, we can see changes. Fernandinho might play or might not. It depends on Pep Guardiola at last. And even Cancelo can also feature in place of Mendy if Mendy doesn't feature anytime soon or doesn't get injury. So yeah, why not?
Would you start Ake or Laporte? I mean, is Laporte ready to return?
No, not yet. So Ake will continue.
Start. Okay. Ninad, just found out this week NDD is out for another 6 weeks for Leicester. But it's a critical blow. I think. Do you think that just completely City are
That's
favourite?
that's
This is pretty much
s-
certain.
on paper, City are favorites with the team one and team two against any team currently in the Premier League,
Aside
for
from Liverpool.
barring maybe Liverpool. But NDD being out for 6 weeks is going to be a big blow for Leicester to fill in that physicality in the back. But that being said, man, Pep can just win some teams if he finds a weakness, and I don't want that to happen because Leicester is a very strong club, and I hope to see a good match. I was just watching their match last week, Leicester's match, and Wadi can still run. I mean, he has announced his retirement from international football, but that guy can still run, and I just want him to run down players in the front if he can get some good balls. Let's see. I always don't understand. I forgot why don't Leicester play Tamari Gray from the beginning? Why is he always a substitute? I mean, he's a good player.
He
So
doesn't
I
have an
always
end product, so that's why.
agreed.
Not
Agreed. I mean that can be trained, but I think he has talent enough to be in the top
he
11.
has to be
I don't think
motivated.
he's not nurturing himself well. Probably. So yeah, he needs someone who can maybe. Let's see. But yeah, I think it'll be a good game to watch. City probably will edge it out in the end, but maybe it can be a draw. I'm edging towards a draw, probably a two-all draw, but
Okay, well,
a City win
we'll
more
come to the
chance.
predictions. Shashwat, who do you think is going to be the key player for City though in this game? Who do you think is going to make the difference for
Yeah,
this?
for Man City, I think it's obviously Kevin De Bruyne will be the key player,
Mhm.
and also Raheem Sterling. It's in City every from start to the starting 11, all the players are very important for the opposition. Means who will you stop? So it's obvious that their front forward line is very strong. Maybe their weakness is little bit on the defensive area, and Fernandinho also. So I think these are the and for Leicester, I think Jamie Vardy as usual will be the key player, and the new and the Daniel Brand. I think the
Yeah,
new player
Dennis.
that has, yeah. So he's also doing a good job for Leicester. So yeah, so these three players will be the key
Yeah,
for Leicester.
Sterling. Yeah, Sterling definitely is going to be key because how many chances he misses is going to determine whether City win or not. So, okay, sorry, I had to get that in. Mention that.
Yeah, you
But
had to rub
Adarsh,
that in, right? Okay.
I know. Well, Adarsh, what do you think is going to be the score in this one?
Uh, it's going to be 3-1 for me because Leicester is someone who can break from the high line, the high press with Vardy or any other player who has speed. And City would be scoring three because it's at home and they are in a fine form. So yeah, I'm expecting goals from them as well as one from Leicester, like maybe Vardy.
Now you said 2-2. You're sticking with that?
Yeah, I'm going to be sticking with that too. All.
Well, that's a bold prediction there. Shashwat, what do you think is going to happen?
Yeah,
You know
happy
that we're
that
talking about Manchester City, right? Not United.
Even
Like I
he's
just want to make sure.
If it were to Manchester, I would have said 2-0 to Leicester City. I mean, I know the condition of the club right now and they're playing 11. I love the club by heart, but I am also a very practical guy. But still, I know that Leicester can really produce some good football. Not because they won the
Yeah,
league 4 years back,
right.
but they can be a danger. But let's see.
What's football if you can dream a little, right? I mean,
Exactly, exactly.
Shashwat, sorry to cut you off there, but what was your prediction?
yeah, mine will be 2-1.
2-1.
2-1 City.
So
Man
Manchester
City
City.
will, yeah, Man City 2-1.
So yes, Manchester City. All right, so there we have it. Predictions for Manchester City. We're now building up to a big game of the weekend, if you can call it the weekend. It's actually on Monday. It is
Monday.
Liverpool against Arsenal. More intriguing than I think normally is. I think in the last few years, I think this one is really an intriguing game based on what we've seen in the last few months from Arsenal. But Shashwat, do you think that Arsenal should go with a back three or a back four for this one?
Yeah, in my opinion, I think defense will be the key in
Mm-hmm.
this game. And as you have seen that in back four, Arsenal normally struggles. So Arteta will initially try with back three, means back three with David Luiz, Gabriel in the middle, uh, and the third is little bit difficult because if third defender, because that's where if
Holding.
guarantee is yeah, if that is if Holding is playing, then he is going to be peppered by Salah and Mane. That is for sure. If Kolasinac plays, then he is also going to be peppered. So now Kirantini is not fit, and that is why.
Yeah.
So if he's fit, then I will go for with him. I think this will be the three options because
What happened to
Williams will,
William Saliba? He didn't even start the League Cup game. So
yeah,
what's going
yeah,
on there?
yeah. I think this is according to me, I think Arteta is still allowing him to settle down, but he should have been included in last game in place of Holding, so that we would have at least this was the League Cup would have been a clear good practice for him before the big games. So
Yep.
so big games in EPL or in Europa League. So at present,
But
I
the
think he might he's just there, but at present, if Arteta is not trusting him to start, so that is why.
yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah,
that's why to change when you're getting results out of the first team. Like they have won all last 5 games or 6 games. Like the good goal scoring like result. So why change it at first place?
yeah,
It
Yeah.
will eventually bring down the confidence of the players who are playing well, who are
yeah.
getting like good
Exactly.
results. Like center defenders are scoring goal. Gabriel are scoring goal. They are having a good partnership. Why change it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, for sure.
And talking about the game against Liverpool, it is very important that they stick with what they have been winning with, because it plays on mentally more than what you do on the field actually. Because as I said, that if you're winning, stay with it. You probably might surprise the champions. Not sure though, but just saying. But still, you can adapt on the field. You have 90 enough good enough minutes to do what to do. So yeah, I don't think they need to change a lot of strategy. Go with what they have, their strong points.
They did beat them in the last Premier League game, and also they got a win in the Community Shield. So there are some.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's an intriguing game. But speaking of changing winning combinations, Nina, do you think would you stick with the midfield three that started against Chelsea for Liverpool, or would you bring Thiago in?
I am not sure. I mean, going by the stats, there were a lot of talks about he completing 75 passes and all that, all not whatever in a winning game. But I think yeah, it's a big game because these are big clubs, and just to give a taste of what it feels like to play against a big club like Arsenal, I think he should get a start. I surely want him to see in the playing 11
Who would
first up.
you, who
So
would
your
you
voice
take
is
out?
big.
Who would you take out? Like who would you swap Thiago with?
That's a difficult question. Let's say
It's you got Wijnaldum, you got Keita, and then you got the Player of the Year, Jordan Henderson. And I say that
Please
because
come on.
okay, okay.
I say that because I
Uh,
can see the reaction on
all
his
of the I well, you just said that. I mean, I don't want him in the playing 11 anymore now. So, but yeah, obviously Henderson is the almost obvious choice. But no, I think I'll go Wijnaldum.
Wijnaldum. Okay.
Yeah.
Adarsh, would you agree? Would you swap Thiago in the? Would you keep the midfield three, or would you swap Thiago in?
No, not right now because it's a very important match for Liverpool. And in the starting phase, like when City are in a good like momentum and they want the title back, and Liverpool are keen to like hold on to the title, I don't think they should make any major changes in the midfield because Thiago is a major change. When I'm saying Thiago, it's a major change, and I don't think they should change it. Keita has been with like Liverpool for like year or two, and he hasn't played much because of his injury, but he knows the dynamics and the demand of Klopp. He knows his partners like Henderson, like even Fabinho if he plays defensive midfielder. And for Thiago, it will be a risk what like Klopp would be choosing because in the midfield is something which is a ball-winning midfield for Klopp, and it's the wing like fullbacks who makes the most of the play for Liverpool. So he can change those players on the fullbacks, but not in the middle. I would say. So I would not include Thiago as of now, but would only keep him for the substitute when the team is not picking or not creating enough chances.
Shashwat, what do you think is going to be the key battle from Arsenal's point of view? What do you think is going to be the key individual battle that you think will define will be defined?
Yeah, first of all, the first most important thing is will be to keep uh, Mane and Salah quiet because if and if you have seen in the last game, Liverpool had a very bad game. In the last league game in which you saw Liverpool were not at their best. You saw Virgil van Dijk making mistake, as well as Allison making mistake. So they will be up for it, and this time uh, they will be since they will not take Arsenal that lightly. So in my opinion, the key battle will be obviously to stop Salah and Mane, and that is we need to defend better and win those midfield battles, and then feed Aubameyang and Lacazette with the chances. In the last game you saw against West Ham, we lacked a little bit of creativity, and then out of nowhere, a goal came. So, in my opinion, these we have to improve a lot because last game we were not at our best at all, and it was means West Ham with a better side till in the second half also. So we have to play better in this game against Liverpool. And
Yeah,
uh,
sure. Yeah. Adarsh, what do you think is going to be the key battle, the key player for Liverpool, or the key battle even?
Liverpool, Trent Alexander-Arnold again, because he's the one who is creating so many chances for them. If like Arsenal manage to clip onto him, and even like Robertson, I think they can stop them from scoring a lot of goals, if not a single goal. So because if Arsenal plays with three at the back, and like the two complete wing backs would be Maitland-Niles, or in the left would be Tierney if he is fit. So let's see if they can clip those spaces and not allow Salah and Mane to make those runs, and just hold on to Arnold and Robertson from crossing. Maybe they can just like score on counter with the help of Aubameyang. Maybe.
It's going to be interesting because you've got a back five, most likely for Arsenal, against the front three and the two fullbacks. So it'll be like 5-on-5, which in
Yeah.
theory might give Arsenal a better chance. But then and you're probably looking at the midfield equal, so 3-5. Yeah, because they probably play a 3-5-2, and they'll have two against two basically in forwards. It's actually because of two strikers against the two centre halves. So it's actually quite interesting. It might be an intriguing tactical battle there. I think that would be very, very interesting to see how that goes. But Ninad, score prediction. What do you think is going to happen? Win, lose, draw. Which way are you going?
2-1, 2-1 Arsenal.
Oh wow, you're really going bold today, eh? 2-1, a draw for City.
This is my first time, but over the years, I don't know why I have been very good with predictions. I've been following football for the past 25 years. Somehow they come correct. I don't know why.
Okay, wow. All right, 2-1 for Arsenal. That's bold. Well, you know what? You're making an impression the first time, and if you get it right, we'll have to invite you back
Let's
on
see.
one of these for sure. Adarsh, what do you think?
Sure.
Yeah.
It's going to be like 1-1 for me. Arsenal scoring on counter, whereas Liverpool scoring one goal somehow after like going past Arsenal's bus. Yeah, maybe 1-1. My end.
Oh, Shashwat, what do you think? You've got very
uh,
optimistic predictions here, so.
so since Liverpool will definitely start as the favorite, but I have to be optimistic. So I am thinking that Liverpool won, Arsenal 2. So just and I will be happy with a draw also. So because it's
But
against
just
the
so you know,
champions.
I picked United to lose or draw. So just because you're a fan, you don't have to be optimistic. Sometimes being pessimistic is also a good thing.
Yeah,
I
learn
mean,
Yeah,
from
exactly.
United fans. You don't have to be optimistic every time.
yes. Well, in my
So
case,
much
you
to
don't have to
learn.
be optimistic at all. But anyway, this my club sucks the optimism out of us. But anyway,
Yeah.
all right. Well, that's actually going to be a very interesting game and a very big game. So, and that's I think all that we have for today. Thank you so much, guys, for joining me. It was very really exciting to have you, and we've more or less covered most of the games. But we have a bit of time. Let's talk a little bit about some of the other games that can have some of the other teams. Actually, Everton, they're playing West Ham or Crystal. I'm not sure actually. They're probably playing West Ham or Crystal Palace. That they're playing. Let's take a quick look at the games for this week as well, just so that we can.
Everton has been my favorite team apart from the top four. If we
Yeah,
do still have
actually,
a
even
top
I
four,
told this in the last talk show we had. Like, I have my eyes on Everton, and James is the guy. James Rodriguez is the guy who I'm eyeing on.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, the squad also. That being said, Ancelotti came in almost at the later half of the season, but he has some vision. He's a top class manager, and he can get the best out of the players. And obviously, as you mentioned about James, I think he will do some wonders with the club.
Yeah, and the best part is the board is backing him with the transfers as well. Like whatever he's asking,
Exactly.
the board is providing him.
Yeah.
So that this is the right time for him to like prove his
Don't
point, like why he should
don't
deserve to
try
be
to
the Everton man.
don't try to rub salt into our wounds indirectly, others. Okay, we get that where you're coming from.
I mean, it is interesting. So Everton are playing Crystal Palace away from home. What do you think is going to be the score in that one?
Crystal
Let's
Palace
start with
versus
Nina. What do you think is going to be the score? Everton against Crystal Palace away from home. Everton are away from home.
Everton are away.
Yeah.
Oh, that's gonna be. I think I'll go for a draw here. I think it's gonna be 2-2 because Crystal Palace are on a roll. I mean, Zaha and Townsend are doing. I have always loved him, not because he went from United to some other club, but I like him as a player,
Okay.
and it will be it will be a good game. I'm not sure about the scoreline, but let's say 2-2. It will be a draw.
Mm-hmm. Adarsh, what do you think that?
Yeah, I would go for 2-0 for Everton because Everton are in a very good form. And when you talk about like Crystal Palace players, it's mostly Zaha and Townsend, and both of them are super inconsistent. So I don't like see them like doing some magic or some works or goals from that side. It would be a Ancelotti masterclass.
Mm-hmm. Shashwat?
Yeah, according to me, also Everton win. That is, but it will be high scoring game. That is, I think it will be 2-4 Everton. Four because they are scoring goals. We have seen, and James has been in great form as well as Calvert Lewin. So I think it will be 2-3 or 2-4 in favor of Everton. Yeah.
Definitely, yeah. Some very good predictions there. Here's a stat for you. Everton actually second in the table. Leicester first, and Crystal Palace I think are fifth at the moment. So just and they all have won 2 games each. So they're all on 6 points. So it's interesting, isn't it, how the table shapes up at the start of the season, particularly when the big teams have played yet. But on that note, one more team we're going to talk about very quickly: Leeds United. Taken everyone, I think, aside from Everton, I think everyone have been pleasantly surprised and happy to see Leeds United. They will be taking on Sheffield United, who I think have had a very uneventful start to the season. They haven't actually done very well so far. Sheffield United, they've lost both games so far. So, I mean, it's attack versus defense, really, isn't it? In some
Yeah,
ways.
for the kind of season they had after being promoted, and then after that, what they have done in the first 2 games, it's absolutely completely opposite to what they did the entire year. I mean,
Mhm.
the defense was really good last year. They were scoring some goals here and there. Lundstrom was good. He missed a penalty as well in the last game.
Yeah.
But if you come to Leeds, I mean, I saw the game against Liverpool, man. That was a good game. That really was a very good game. They keep coming back even in the last game. They just keep coming back. I don't know how to do it. Is it that the Premier League teams are giving it easy to them, maybe it on the plate, but let's see it against the other big boys. Let's see how
Well,
they do against United.
well, against Fulham, they actually had the lead, and then they let Fulham come back into it. Like made it from 4-1 to
Exactly. Yeah.
4-3. So
Yeah.
it's
That was a
interesting
good game
what
as
you're
well.
gonna get with the Leeds. What do you do? Well, you do know what you're gonna get. Is you're not gonna get a very good defensive performance. Though they did bring in a new defender now. They brought in a new signing. So we'll see how that goes. But Shashwat, what's your prediction for the score for Leeds against Sheffield? Leeds are away from home.
Yeah, I think it will be a draw. Means 1-1
1-1.
because
Wow.
yeah, yeah,
That is a
because
very bold prediction to say 1-1. Because that's very bold. But yeah, for sure, 1-1.
yeah,
Okay, Adarsh,
yeah,
what do you think?
Yeah, I'm expecting a Leeds United win because they have been a really entertaining team for all of us, like all Premier League fans. We are very proud to have such team back in Premier League who can actually take on like title champions like with such a like toe to toe match. So yeah, I'm going with 2-0 for Leeds United.
2-0. That's also bold, expecting Leeds to keep a clean sheet. Got some bold predictions here for this one. Nina, what do you think is going to happen?
I think it's going to be a draw. But a high scoring draw because Leeds do score up front, but they start leaking goals, and Sheffield United might just find a way to score goals themselves. So maybe a 2-all draw. Not high scoring, maybe a 3-all. Maybe you never know.
I was going to go for 3-all. I think 3-all seems
Exactly.
really good.
Let's keep it to 3-all. It
3-all.
probably can be a high scoring game.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, but it's definitely prediction. But yeah, that's definitely interesting. Well, for the fantasy Premier League teams, make sure you don't put any Leeds defenders in your team. You don't want to lose points. That's
No, no, not yet, not yet.
But thank you so much. I think this is wonderful. Thanks so much, guys, for joining me today. We got some really good predictions, some good fantasy Premier League insights as well. If you're into that kind of thing, and obviously you got a lot of good information and predictions for the score. So I think we've got a lot of ground. We'll now see how this goes. This video will be played for you guys, and make sure you keep a copy or whatever, so we can come back to it after the games to see how the predictions did. So we'll know exactly how things went. But thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much, Nad. First time on the show. It was really a great pleasure to have you. Thanks so much, Shashwat, as well.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, and Adarsh,
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me once again.
Yeah.
Like, I keep coming back to your show again and again with the same face. So thank you so much for
Tell us a
having me
regular
back.
cast
Yeah.
member at this point.
Thank you so much, Rohit, for having us. It was a great show, great talk. Thank you, everyone. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Shashwat and Adarsh.
Yeah, just before you guys leave, just make sure to like the video if you enjoyed it. That definitely we want to see how many people like it. Also, remember to subscribe to the channel if you're new, and if you haven't done so already, we want to get past 80 subscribers to help us get that milestone. So please do subscribe. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a good weekend. Enjoy the games, and we'll be back again soon. Bye-bye.
Hey everyone, thank you so much for listening to that episode of Late Night Football. We need your help to grow this channel, so if you've been enjoying the show thus far, please do like and subscribe to this channel and share it with your friends, family, colleagues, neighbors, drinking buddies, fellow football fans, and anybody else you know or don't know. We'd really appreciate it. Please also follow us on Twitter and Facebook via the links in the description below and spread the word about us. Take care.